From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy. Police in Vancouver say a 44-year-old woman has been arrested in a hate crime investigation over a speech that praised the October 7th Hamas terror attack on Israel. The Vancouver Police Department says the woman was referring to a number of terrorist organizations as heroes, and a criminal investigation is underway to determine if her comments violated hate crime laws. Videos of the rally show a woman leading the crowd in a chant of "Long live October 7th" and calling the attackers heroic and brave. Pro-Palestinian activists who have pitched their tents on McGill University campus have scored a legal victory after a Quebec judge rejected a request for an injunction to move their protest. Two students at the Montreal University called for the Quebec Superior Court to order protesters to move at least 100 meters from the buildings, saying their presence has created an unsafe environment of aggression. Justice Chantal Massey disagreed, stating that the students failed to demonstrate their access to the school was being blocked or that they would be unable to write their final exams because of the protest. After weeks of speculation, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says his party will support the minority Liberal government's budget, but Singh says there's still some concerns, in which he raised to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Well, I laid out my concerns, and I'm very serious about those concerns around the disability benefit, around Indigenous communities, and the impacts.
He wouldn't say if he made specific demands to Trudeau, but says the Prime Minister expressed an openness to address those concerns. Mental Health and Addictions Minister Yara Sachs said this morning that the decision about whether to recriminalize drugs in British Columbia needs to be made urgently, but she was still waiting for more information from the province before making that call. BC's Health Minister Adrian Dix says BC Premier David Eby and Addictions Minister Jennifer Whiteside have spoken to Sachs and the Prime Minister.
It's our expectation that the federal government will act expeditiously, and really it's hard for me to imagine that them not acting would be based on not having information, because frankly we're providing them all of the information we have to ensure that this happens quickly and expeditiously, and that commitment is from the Premier on down.
A statement from BC's Addictions Ministry says it's responded with additional data on substance use, along with possible guidance for police. The U.S. Federal Reserve has emphasized that inflation is still stubbornly high, and it doesn't plan on cutting interest rates until there is a greater confidence that price increases will slow substantially towards its 2% target. The Fed kept its key rate at two-decade highs of roughly 5.3% today. The combination of high interest rates and persistent inflation have also emerged as a potential threat to Joe Biden's re-election bid. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Edmonton Oilers look to advance to the second round of the NHL playoffs when they host the Los Angeles Kings tonight. The Oilers are back home after winning twice in LA to take a 3-1 lead in the best-of-7 series. The Oilers will eliminate LA in the first round for the third straight year if they can close out the series. Also tonight, Dallas hosts defending Stanley Cup champion Vegas with the series tied 2-2. Tampa Bay Lightning coach John Cooper opened his end-of-the-season news conference by apologizing for making what he calls an inappropriate analogy of putting skirts on goalies. Cooper made the remark after the Lightning were eliminated from the playoffs by Florida on Monday. He was complaining about two questionable goaltender interference rulings that contributed to the Panthers' Game 5 win. The Boston Celtics can advance to the second round of the NBA playoffs with a win tonight over visiting Miami. The Celtics lead the best-of-7 series 3-1. Later, the Los Angeles Clippers host the Dallas Mavericks with that series tied 2-2. From the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.